So when it was time for Guru's 51st birthday, I had really good friends in Nova Scotia, disciples from the Nova Scotia Centre, and one of them he was a really good runner. 800-meter run actually, but he had this idea of doing like a run from Nova Scotia to New York, and he would try to do like 51k a day. That was his goal, because it was Guru's 51st birthday coming up. And so he'd asked me if I would he had a truck with like a little space to sleep in, and that, would I be his handler and help drive the truck. So that's basically what I took a bus up to Bangor, Maine, I think, and then a ferry over to, no, I waited, and he brought a ferry. I met him in Bangor, in Maine, and he'd already done like a couple of days running around Nova Scotia. We met, we spent the night in Maine, and then started off early the next morning. And as I said, basically what would happen is he would start off running, I would go ahead a little bit, maybe 4 or 5 Ks or something, park the car, run back to him, and then we would run together back to the car. If he needed anything to eat, any rest, any massage, anything like that, I would give him. And that basically is what we would do. And then another disciple from the center had sent these press releases ahead of us. But it was kind of funny. I don't know whether it was the mail or whatever, but we seemed to, at least early on, the first sort of week, we were always getting there, and the people that we were supposed to meet with hadn't received the email yet. And but we had fairly nice receptions at different places. We did a couple of radio interviews over the phone. We met with a few mayors, a few sports directors from different things, and mostly we got a good reception. But we on a couple of occasions, we would meet with the mayor, and he just basically didn't want to meet with us. He was not very pleasant, and so we would just, in one case, we think somewhere, a big place in Maine, we met with the mayor. He wasn't really happy to meet with us, but there was like the local newspaper was across the street, and we went across to the local newspaper, and they really did a really nice interview with us. They were really happy to do that, and so we. A little bit further on that afternoon, we actually got a copy of the newspaper, and they actually were praising us like anything, and actually kind of also sort of said a couple of nice things about how the mayor had behaved with us. Anyway, we kind of it took us, I don't remember now how exactly, but we arrived the day before Guru's birthday, and we actually ended at the UN, and then we drove back for the UN, and there was a function that evening at. PS 86, not PS 86, Progress Promise. And so during the function, again, Guru invited us to come up. And so we came up, and he started asking us stories about how the run had gone. And we actually mentioned how that really in some places we got a good reception, and some other places we didn't get a good reception. And Guru's comment on that essentially was, he said, but it is important. When you do these things, it is not so important whether you get a good reception or you get a bad reception, because what you are doing is you're sowing seeds. And he says, one day, who knows when, one day these seeds will grow up into a big banyan tree. So it showed us really that even though you may not get necessarily the attention you think you need, that's essentially like feeding the ego. But if we surrender to the effort and don't say, give up because we're not getting the right response, that Guru shows that the importance of it is that you sow these seeds. And it applies to not only something like this, it applies really to everything in our manifestation.